Hi, I'm Sarah Mueller, a reporter with Forbes. Tonight we're here at the Lincoln Dinner in Des Moines, Iowa. I'm here with presidential candidate Perry Johnson. Now, Perry, one of the things you said on stage was that I know I'm probably going to get killed by Christian Pence. Obviously, your place in the polls right now is not super high up. What are your thoughts on
we're
that?
doing quite well in the polls. Do you know the last three polls that came out, I was over 1%. As a matter of fact, I think I was ahead of 5 candidates, 2 of whom are going to be on the stage. And that's the last 3 days. We had the Mammoth poll that came out, right? The Caravan poll that came out. And I'm one of only 2 people that are actually going up in the polls with the Republican voters.
Now, you do have a deep bench, as I just talked about with another candidate. There are a lot of candidates very condensed in this race. Where are you at with getting on the stage? I've been seeing your posts. You're trying to get those 40,000 donors.
Oh, I think I'm going to get the 40,000. I think he told me not to say this, but I'm at 30,000 now.
And so you're hoping to get on the stage. You feel like you're going to get on the stage. What do you want to get through to voters that maybe have not seen you in Iowa yet?
Well, first of all, in order for me to get on the stage, I have to make sure that they include me in the polls. If they don't include me in the polls, it makes it very hard. It's very interesting, too, considering the fact that I'm ahead of, 5 people in 3 polls in the last 3 days, and yet they exclude me from about 75, 80% of the polls. But I'm pretty confident we're going to make that. The most important thing to keep in mind is that I have one central focus, and that is the economy. I'm a guy that spent his entire life bringing quality and efficiency to companies, and I want to try to bring that to the federal government.
Now, one of the things you talked about tonight was a whole speech on the FBI. You talked about Hunter Biden. Where do you think you're going to get voters with that kind of a speech? Do you think they're going to resonate with speaking about Hunter Biden right now, given all that's going on with Trump, your current opponent for the primary?
What I wanted to do is to make the point out that we have a system that doesn't seem entirely fair. You know, Trump can sneeze and he's going to get another indictment. Do these indictments bother him? I don't know, maybe a little bit. It seems like with every indictment, his poll numbers go up because we rally around people that are getting picked upon. But yet, there is no question that in Hunter Biden, we have a number of issues. They, for example, knew that Hunter Biden had all sorts of problems. They decided that they were going to give him a slap on the wrist, and it was so egregious that the judge actually threw it out. So the Department of Justice is owned by Biden, but he doesn't own the judges. Then we have a situation where Biden said he never talked to a client of Hunter Biden. And we find out that isn't the case. He talked to over 200 of these clients. Then we have another situation with $10 million that went into these various shell companies. I say, if they're doing all this investigation and they're doing all this stuff with Trump, starting with Russian collusion over the period of and then what's going on right now, isn't it about time we start taking a look at Hunter Biden and what's gone on here and how his father, who was the vice president and now the president, fits into this whole thing?
Now, your opponent, Donald Trump, just was charged again with 3 different crimes. Now, where do you think that puts him in the public view, given that he is polling at number 1?
At number 1, he's killing everyone. Nobody else is even in the race compared to him right now. We have to see what happens down the road. And we have to see what really does happen with these charges and all that's going on. Right now, I came out in the beginning and said that they should pardon him when they had those first indictments in New York, because I think it's really kind of unfair. I, in a number of ways, feel sorry for him that they've been picking on him for so many years, but he seems pretty resilient. I do know for a fact that right now he is so far ahead that there isn't even anybody that's even a close second.
You sound almost like a supporter of Trump, yet you're running against him. What differentiates your campaign?
Actually, I intend to beat him. You know, my basic theme was that he did a very good job until we got to these spending situations and he just spent too much money. That's the reason we have all this problem, is that we have 2 parties, both the Democrats and the Republicans, spending too much money. Now, you can't say we don't have a problem when we're $32 trillion in debt, and when every family is spending $612 a month just in the interest on this debt. Now, that is not an acceptable situation. I say we have to change it. What I find amazing is that the governments are always talking about all the money that they're going to spend. They spend every penny of every dollar every year, make sure they do all that. They talk about more spending, but when did they talk about spending less so we can give some tax cuts? That's never talked about, is it?
Now, another thing you addressed on stage, you addressed wanting to impeach Biden. You also addressed wanting to pardon Trump. And you said that Vivek has taken maybe some hints from your campaign platform. You've been taking a couple of shots at him lately. What's your thought process there?
No, I'm not really taking a shot. I actually like the fact that every time I have a suggestion, he agrees with it. So I suggested pardoning Trump. It only took him 11 days. And then he said, we'll pardon Trump. I've been talking about getting rid of the Department of Education for the last 3 months. It took him about 2 months for that to sink in, and now he likes that idea. And of course, I was talking about dismantling the FBI, and that only took about a week or two, and he agreed with that. I think he's going to agree with the idea of going and impeaching Biden. It may take him 10 days, but I think he's going to agree with it.